Hello, I'm Dr. Malcolm Ogborn, the Optimistic Doc. Today I'd like to give you a brief overview of the concept and importance of emotional intelligence. So what is emotional intelligence? I like to go with this definition from 2002, which is the ability to perceive emotions so as to assist thought, to understand emotions and emotional meanings, and to reflectively regulate emotions in ways that promote emotional and intellectual growth. This definition, which comes at the midpoint in many ways of the appreciation of the importance of emotional intelligence and the science behind it, reflects the understanding that our emotional state is part of who we are and part of how we make decisions and how we function in society, and that it can't be ignored. It has to actually be factored into the way we work and the way we lead. So, what's emotional intelligence actually do? Well, it's about knowing your emotions and being able to manage those emotions. It's about motivating yourself. It's about recognizing emotions and their consequences in others around you, and about managing the relationships that are essential to your work and personal life success. Why is it important? Well, there's a very large body of research that has consistently found that emotional intelligence is actually a much better predictor of success in almost every human endeavor than cognitive intelligence, particularly in the workplace and particularly in leadership. Emotional intelligence does tend to increase in age, unlike cognitive intelligence, which tends to decline. It's interesting that when we associate age with wisdom, it would seem to suggest that we associate wisdom with emotional intelligence. Unlike cognitive intelligence, however, emotional intelligence competencies are actually trainable. You can change emotional intelligence competencies by conscious decisions about how you think and how you act. And one of the things that's been really a focus of very recent work and development is the idea that it's the balance between different emotional intelligence competencies that are as important as absolute scores. It's not just like an IQ test where whoever gets the highest number wins. It's important to understand the relationship between different aspects of emotional intelligence and work to maintain balance. So how do we measure it? Now, in fact, there's quite a lot of measurement instruments out there for emotional intelligence, and I'm going to focus on one of them, the EQI 2.0. This is based on work that was originally done by Dr. Reuven Bar-On, and this divides the domain of emotional intelligence into 5 subdomains. These include self-perception, which includes 3 competencies: self-regard, our ability to accept ourselves as we are; self-actualization, our ability to realize our potential capacities; and emotional self-awareness, the ability to recognize, differentiate between, and understand our feelings and the impact our feelings have on other people. The next realm is self-expression, our ability to express our emotions, our ability to be assertive and advocate for our own rights and needs in a way that's not seen as aggressive or arrogant; and independence, our ability to function as ourselves and not let the actions and feelings of other people override or allow us to become dependent on those. The interpersonal domain includes interpersonal relationships, our ability to form and maintain mutually satisfying relationships; empathy, our ability to be aware of, understand and appreciate the feelings of others; and social responsibility, our willingness to contribute to society in a positive way. Decision-making involves problem-solving, and this involves solving problems where emotions are involved. It's not a test of your mathematical or engineering ability. Reality testing, our ability to see the world as it actually is, rather than we would hope it would be or than we fear it is. And impulse control, our ability to delay an impulse or temptation to act. The final domain, stress management, includes flexibility, our ability to adjust our thoughts and emotions to the ever-changing environment around us; stress tolerance, our ability to withstand adverse events and tough situations and remain well; and optimism, the ability to maintain a positive attitude even in the face of adversity. So how do we use emotional intelligence in coaching? Well, the obvious way is to understand a starting point to build strengths and achieve balance. It can be useful achieving insights into how emotions may be affecting how a client or a team is operating, and how it may be affecting the assumptions they make about the situations in which they find themselves. It enables an approach where appreciating where your emotional intelligence competencies may be extremely strong, that you can actually factor that into your decision making to actually play on those strengths. If you'd like to know more about emotional intelligence, there's a wealth of literature out there. A great starting point is always Daniel Goleman's seminal book, Emotional Intelligence, which gives a good overview of the field, but also gives a very good overview of the very strong neuroscience behind the concepts of emotional intelligence. The EQ Edge by Stephen Stein and Howard Book specifically speaks to the model that is promulgated in the EQI 2.0 assessment. Learned Optimism by Martin Seligman, whilst more a book in the domain of positive psychology than emotional intelligence, is also a good overview of the science behind the relationship between cognition, behavior, and emotion, and emphasizes some of the science behind the finding that you can actually change your emotional intelligence. If you'd like to find out more about my coaching services, you can find information on my website at www.optimisticdoc.com, or reach me by email at coach@optimisticdoc.com, or by phone at the number on the screen. Thank you for listening.